How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Across the Bifrost. This is Ryan Doze. You are listening to the Mighty Thor podcast, where on each and every episode, we explore the world of Marvel's Mighty Thor. Today, we're doing one of our review episodes. We are finally getting to talk about Disney Plus's She-Hulk. We are very excited to talk about this, and usually when we talk about awesome stuff, we bring on awesome people to talk about said awesome stuff. So today's awesome person, our special awesome guest, is my good friend, Brandon Bloxdorf from Apollo City Comics. Brando, welcome back to the Bifrost.
Hello, fucking hyped to be back. Can I cuss on this show? I always forget.
Has that ever stopped you?
I don't think it does. Yeah,
go right ahead.
We'll
slap an explicit tag on this, and we've kind of thought of it this way: like, no one can top Torn Grunbeck.
True.
So if you can top her, then we can like find a way to like double explicit the episode.
There you go. We got to get like a counter.
Torn is the bar she's the bar, and no one has gotten to that yet. So go right ahead. We'll put an explicit tag on it, and yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun though, because we're talking about She-Hulk, which is a show we both loved.
Yes.
It'll be easy to talk about, but then we're also going to see how She-Hulk, the show, connected to Thor.
Yes.
There's a lot of Thor references in She-Hulk, and we're going to be checking out some Avengers comics that feature a budding romance between Thor and She-Hulk, written by great Thor author Jason Aaron. So
yeah,
there's a lot on this episode.
Traveling the Bifrost today across all these mediums.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot.
So, okay, I'm going to be the first to say, like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the Disney Plus shows. Like, everyone has their opinions.
It's true. It's true.
You know, like, and everyone has their favorite. What's really interesting is that everybody kind of has different favorite Disney Plus Marvel shows. Every time I talk to someone, they're like, it's this and this, or it's Captain or Winter Soldier and blah blah blah, and I'm just like, oh cool, Loki or What If, or stuff like that. And I'm just like, I think they all kind of suck except for WandaVision and She-Hulk. Like, those are my top two, and they're like battling for number one because I had so much fun watching She-Hulk. It was such a show. Because no matter how like crazy or dark it got, like I got to walk away and I was just like in a good mood after watching She-Hulk. I was just like, this was hilarious. And like the amount of times I was laughing during the Daredevil episode is just insane.
Too many to count.
Too many to count.
Yeah. And hopefully, listeners, perfect segue here. Hopefully you will leave this episode feeling good about yourself. Hopefully you'll leave having maybe learned something. Maybe you liked She-Hulk and you're like, finally, I heard two guys that were actually like, hey, yeah, She-Hulk, bring it on, bring more. Maybe you're looking for that. I was referenced. I got a shout out on another one of my favorite shows the other day, Marvel by the Month, and they described me as the guy who likes to like things.
I can see that,
and I'm like, you know what? If that's what I'm known as in the podcasting community, I'll take it, because there's a lot of people that are probably known for the opposite. So
yes,
here we go, everybody. We're gonna dig into a few comics. Then we're going to take a brief break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do our full deep dive on everything that was She-Hulk. So the comics we are reading today are Avengers issues 8 and 11. Yes, we're going to skip 9 and 10. We're going to check out issues 8 and 11 of Jason Aaron's current run of Avengers. Yeah, these comics are still coming out. This squad is still assembling to deal with the villains that one hero cannot do by themselves. So in issues 8 and 11, we are digging into a story, a kind of a B plot, a C plot that's happening while the Avengers have just reassembled. T'Challa is the leader, and they're trying to figure out what is their function in the world that is now. Like, the Dark Celestials have attacked, the final host has judged the world, and the Avengers stopped it. But now what do? What is their team supposed to be in this world? And there is some romantic drama happening behind the scenes, and we're going to dig into that. We're going to dig into the romance. Yes, I said that, romance between Jennifer Walters, the She-Hulk, and Thor Odinson, the mighty, mighty Thor. So here's how this all begins. They have just conquered all the Celestials. that have attacked Earth, the Dark Celestials. And Jen is exuding a lot more gamma radiation, a lot more power than is normal. And Doctor Strange says, hey, just so you know, like, you are beyond powerful now. And Thor this is so routine. Like, it's just a day at the Avengers base. Thor is just looking for the bathroom. That's all he's doing. He's looking for the bathroom. And Jen
the celestial
says,
body is just so humongous.
right.
Like, he's just walking around like this insane machine. And he's like, I just need a, and it starts in the beginning of it. He's like, I just need a fucking pee, dude. Like, this is the worst thing. This is worse than any maze, than anything. Yeah.
And Jen helps him find the bathroom, and that's it.
That's all you get.
That's like all we get in issue 8. But there's a little bit of a hint that they like each other, that they appreciate each other. They're kind of like, they're action junkies. They're like, they're battle junkies. So they like see that in the other one. And it's even referenced by, I believe it's Captain Marvel or Black Panther. It's like, hey, Thor and She-Hulk, is that happening? And they're like, we don't have time for this. Like, we got bigger fish to fry, quite literally, because Namor is on the warpath again. So the Avengers go, and in issues 9 and 10, they deal with a conflict with Namor, because Namor is always ready to just screw shit up.
Yep.
Which we're going to see in the upcoming Black Panther movie. So we are on the aftermath of yet another fight with Namor. And as Captain Marvel and Thor are teaming up to pick up some stuff at the bottom of Atlantis, they're trying to, clean up the fight that they just had. Captain Marvel literally is like, so you and Jen, is that happening? And there's this kind of like hint that, it's gonna happen. And Thor, and they believe this is in issue 10, which admittedly, Brandon, I didn't have you read because it's like 4 panels. In this little interaction that Carol and Thor have, Carol says basically, what are you gonna do about it? And Thor's like, well, I'm kind of nervous to ask her out on a date. And of course, the big meathead jock guy would be nervous to ask the even bigger meathead jock girl out on a date. So Carol says, just do it. Like, find something fun that you would both like. And then we get to issue 11, where the romance really kicks off. Thor's idea of a date. Now, keep in mind, this is She-Hulk. This is Thor. They're not going to like go to a French restaurant and have like 3 very like small courses. They're not going to like go do like a moonlit walk. Nope, they're not going to do that. Thor takes Jen to the Savage Land, and they watch dinosaurs wrestle while drinking obscene amounts of alcohol.
Total like
that is the setting for the first date.
I mean, like, it's like, let's just go watch these kick-ass dinosaurs,
right?
Just go at it, and we're just gonna like party while this is all going on. And she is pissed, like any woman should be.
Absolutely furious.
Like,
why is she furious, Brandon?
I mean, dude, like, well, for one, I mean, she's really upset because she feels like Thor is just seeing the Hulk side of her,
right?
This big, strong, like, monstrous woman, and it's Thor, like the biggest, strongest dude in the Avengers. Like, he kicks the most ass, and she just feels like same thing, like that. You kind of see the conflict in the TV show, actually,
right,
as I spin that into that a little bit. But like, that was a big thing. She was like, oh, people are like dating me as She-Hulk, but not dating me as Jen. And that was a whole entire, I mean, that like got them through court in the TV show. Like, that was an entire plot line within it.
Right.
And it's cool seeing that reflected in the comic. And Thor isn't really sure like how to find, at first, he's trying to find that balance of like, which side of her is, do I appeal to the savage side, or do I appeal to the sweetheart side? He doesn't really know how to do it. And she's just like, I mean, come on, like, this is no wonder you're fucking single, Thor, if you're doing stuff like this.
At one point, Thor says, I'm mighty with like my hammer and my fist, but I'm not so mighty with my words. And I'm like, that is a Jason Aaron line if I've ever heard one. He's like, I'm not so mighty with my words. And he tries to explain to Jen that it's her humanity that he actually finds the most intriguing. It's the humanity of her behind the She-Hulk that he wants to know more. Because at this point, he kind of knows who She-Hulk is. He knows he's attracted to the She-Hulk side of her persona, but it's Jen that he wants to know more, and that's why he's brought her on this date, and why he asked her to go out and kind of have his version of a good time. And then She-Hulk just kind of says, like, stop. And then the storyline for the issue is ended with them embracing in a kiss. And we see that also reflected on the cover of this issue. It's She-Hulk holding Thor like in like a dipping position.
Yeah, dude. Like,
but
it's kind of interesting, and it's one of those romances where you're just like, this totally makes sense. Like,
right,
on the power scheme level, on like that in humanity aspect, Thor's always trying to be ground, and he's the most grounded, like, as Guardian. He's the one that sympathizes with humans. He's the one that cares for mortals.
Yeah.
And so for the fact for him to go for that side of her, and knowing there's another side, just like he has another side, I think that's a really strong, like, fucking brilliant. Of course, Jason Aaron put that math together and made them like this, gave him this moment.
I do love in just to talk a little bit more about these comics, because these comics were also happening as War of the Realms was leading up. So at the time, Jason is still writing Thor, and he's leading up to War of the Realms, this massive Thor-centric crossover. In this issue, though, I feel like we actually see Jason have some fun with Thor, which is like the lead up to War of the Realms in the Thor solo book, which we've been covering in our Jason Aaron retrospective. If you haven't listened to those episodes, go listen to them. They are awesome. In fact, at this point, if you haven't checked out our interview with Joe Sabino, Thor letterer for like forever, we just did the like Thor prepares for the War of the Realms episode. So go check that out. But at this point, Thor is so in, like, he's so in his own head about everything in the Thor solo book. But when you switch over to Avengers, Jason actually has some fun with him. He plays around with him, because the Avengers storylines are really more about Black Panther at this point. They're more about, they're more about Tony and Captain Marvel. It's not so much about Thor. So Jason kind of play around a little bit more in that. And that's kind of what I noticed comparing these books that were happening almost simultaneously from each other, but from the same author.
It's so interesting, like, when stuff like that happens with creators, when like someone's writing Justice League and also like Superman or Batman or something,
right?
Like, the tones are totally different, and I think that's really because like they know they're just torturing the fuck out of the character in this book. They're like, I can't do it twice.
Right.
Like, I need to loosen up and just like have some feel good moments that I'm prepared to give, because I'm slaughtering them then in their solo series. Like, that's always like the more interpersonal aspect.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a great observation too.
Did you have anything else from these comics like that stuck out to you, Brandon? Because I know you're a creator yourself. You really appreciate story elements, and you have a good eye for story. And I was just wondering if our listeners can glean anything from you before they go check these issues out themselves.
I was going to even comment, like, I love how you're saying the ABC plots. I don't think a lot of people kind of realize how that works in comics.
Yeah.
So just for an aspect, like, and I fucking hate Chris Claremont's run on X-Men. Like, Chris Claremont has never talked to another human being in his life. That's why the dialogue is so bad.
There is an episode of Apollo City out there where I believe the three of us do go pretty hard at the X-Men Claremont.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Like, but honestly, like, it's almost like an essential, because so much happens, and it fucking did it for 12 years. Of course, so much happens in it.
Yeah.
But it's like legendary in that sense. But it's also really good because the way Chris was setting up storylines, and I believe almost every creator has kind of followed this path, and you could pick it up a little bit, but no, excuse me. So like what they do is they start with a plot, which has the bulk of the story. So whatever comic you're reading, the more pages that are around that one aspect of the story, that's the A plot. The B plot kind of gets sprinkled in, and then there's a C plot always. And as A plot ends, B plot begins, and then C plot turns into B plot, and a new C plot is introduced. So it's kind of like this rotating wheel. Yeah. And Jason Aaron's really good at like having those elements into it. So setting up this whole Thor, and you kind of need to do that with a team book too. It's so much easier than a solo series, but you're kind of playing with all these characters and developing them more and more. So it's cool seeing them kind of blemish. And Jason's just such a good storyteller in the fact of like, Dude, his everything, he's flawless. And the fact his Avengers books are so smooth, you could jump into it and be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on because I haven't read any of this, but you still understand the story like a
Right.
comic book should be, like
There's two things that I think Jason Aaron does, maybe not better than, but just as good as any author going today. Is one, he has this ability to build worlds quickly. He does world building efficiently. And I've noticed that in his Avengers books now, like with his Avengers Forever run, that is wrapping up later this year, and his Avengers run is wrapping up this year. They're going to wrap up together. The amount of world building he has done in these multiverse based stories is incredible. It's just so good. There's an issue, I believe it's issue 7 of Avengers Forever, that theorizes, what if Thor had the power of the Iron Fist? Now
that's cool. He's like, Jason Aaron is what like Grant Morrison was like 20 years ago. You know what I mean? When he was doing Invisibles and JLA and stuff like that. Like, this is like, that's the level that like he's at. I think like Jason Aaron and Donny Cates are going to be like, or Snyder are probably going to be like our Alan Moore, Neil Gaiman's,
oh boy,
like Grant Morrison's, because of how well they tell stories and the elements they've introduced and changed and like what they're influencing right now. Like, this is the modern like big time creators. You can't really get better at storytelling in this sense.
And speaking of his storytelling, there's the other thing that I think he does just as good as anybody, better than most, is that constant rotation of A plot, B plot, C plot, A plot, B plot, C plot. And like, every character you see is there for a reason, even if you don't know it at the moment. Like, getting this close to the end of his Thor run, I care about every character.
Yeah,
every character. And I think that's awesome. I think it's clear in this Avengers run. And to segue very smoothly, and I called out my own segue, that's lame. But speaking of characters that we really care about, in fact, almost every character in this show we really, really cared about.
Yeah.
On the other side of this break, Brandon and I are going to tell you everything we thought about the She-Hulk series, and we're going to point out a few of the Thor connections in this show. So we will be right back. Friends, I hope you're enjoying this episode of Across the Bifrost. Just wanted to take this brief break to remind you that we do have a Patreon. It is called the Thor Core. There's a link in the episode description that you can follow to join today, and you'll get all of our bonus episodes, you'll get early episodes, and you'll learn things about the show before anybody else does. For a few bucks a month, you can join our Patreon, be a member of the Thor Core, and get awesome bonus episodes like the one we're doing with Brandon later on. We're going to do a full review of Black Adam, the new DC movie. We don't usually talk about DC stuff on this podcast, but if that interests you, you'll get that as a part of your Thor Core membership with us on Patreon. So if you would consider that, we would appreciate it. Either way, we hope you enjoy the rest of this awesome She-Hulk review. Okay, everybody, it's here. We're going to be talking about the She-Hulk Disney Plus show. It was a 9-episode show, which was a little different.
Threw me off. I didn't know when the show was going to end.
Yeah,
every week I was like, 6, 7,
9 episodes.
8?
That's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, it ran for 9 episodes for most of like late summer into early fall. And it featured I've been trying so hard to get her name right because I think she's an awesome actress. But Tatiana Maslany plays Jennifer. Jamila Jamil plays Titania. Ginger Gonzalez plays Nikki. Awesome. Mark Ruffalo showed up as Bruce Banner. Josh Segarra was Pug. Pug was a awesome supporting character I loved. Tim Roth, he reprised his role as Emil Blonsky. Benedict Wong shows up as Wong, the Sorcerer Supreme. We're definitely going to be talking about that episode. There's so many great actors in this show, but I really feel like we need to start with the the surprise breakout star
The
of the
biggest
show,
of them all,
the
because
the
his
star we
name's
didn't see coming, Patty Guggenheim as Madison. Oh, let's be honest, we're talking about She-Hulk, but this is really about Madison with two N's, one I and one Y, but not where you think. But
God, that shit was ridiculous.
this
Like,
show
it's so
was,
honest. Like,
yeah, I mean, Brandon, where do you want to start?
I'm gonna be the first to say that I was one of those people that I was like, why are we getting a She-Hulk show? Like, I don't give a fuck about She-Hulk. Like, who reads She-Hulk? I've never had anyone be like, check out She-Hulk. Have you heard how good this She-Hulk series is? I've
Yeah,
just always kind of seen it. And I've heard in the past, like, because I read Wizard magazine as a kid, that like the 80s She-Hulk was cool, and you even backed that up. And then recently, like months ago, I heard something good about Dan Slott's She-Hulk, and I was like, I guess I'll try to check these
yeah,
out. And I heard that they were very meta, and that's what kind of got my attention.
yeah,
I still haven't gotten to reading them, to be honest, and I want to for sure, definitely want to now. But I'm someone that waits kind of for a season to get close to ending, so I can just binge it a little bit, like watch
yeah,
it all, really want to process it. Um, and I started She-Hulk and I fucking loved it, like from
yeah,
the start. Like, and it was just, it blew me away. And we were just talking about it before, how it's like that whole, there's so much good comedy in it. There's so much good meta moments. And like, I also like seeing like the negative feedback, because I wait a few episodes for anything to come out. I just can't
right,
get to it most of the time. You know what I mean? So
right.
I end up just doing that out of, I'm just busy. And I was just seeing all the build up to being like, man, maybe it's not gonna be as, great. And then, of course, it's the internet, And I started watching it. I was like, this is fucking phenomenal. And like, it's my top Marvel Disney Plus show. And like, I feel like a lot of people will try to like
Wow.
it because it's like, it's also the show that's like got controversy, because, and it's the theme of the show, which was fucking wild, is that like, oh, you're just gonna enjoy it because it's a girl show. Oh, you're just gonna enjoy it to like, it's Marvel's attempt at doing this and all this. I'm like, no, it's just like, just happens to be good. You know what I mean? Like, it just happens to be great. And I love how they tackled that. The nerdgasms that
Yep,
just slip out over a female kicking ass for whatever reason. And for
right.
why that's a thing still.
Yep.
How long
Uh,
has Wonder Woman and them been around? Like, why are we still thinking about girls
right,
trying to kick
right.
ass? Like, it doesn't
Uh,
follow.
so so I'm sure we will dig into the finale, because the finale literally makes real life critics a character,
Yeah,
which was the most ingenious move
it
to me.
was.
Because
It
like,
was brilliant.
talk about doubling down on being so confident in your show that you're like, we are going to risk pissing off a large fan base, large comic book fan base, let's be
Hmm.
honest, not fans of this particular show,
Yeah.
but we are going to risk making a dicey like jab at our own fan base. That
Hmm.
is so freaking metal awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
And
and then being like, hey, but we know who we made this show for.
mm,
And I remember it was I think it was episode 3 or 4, because I was kind of in that thought of like, okay, I like parts of this, but I
yeah.
don't know if I like it as a whole. And of course, in a even a 9 episode run of a show, you're gonna have weaker episodes, you're gonna have stronger episodes.
Hmm.
That's just the nature of how episodic storytelling goes.
Unless it's MASH.
Unless it's MASH, then it's absolutely fucking perfect.
Fucking
For
perfect.
11 seasons.
Yeah.
But there was this point I had. I was like, okay, am I trying to like She-Hulk, or do I like She-Hulk?
Yeah, exactly.
And and
Yeah.
and and then I the moment for me, and I know I told you this, I told our friends Haley and Faz this, I told my friend Will this, basically, listeners, all the friends that you've gotten to know through this show, told all of them, I was like, I figured it out. She-Hulk is not a superhero show.
Yeah.
Said She-Hulk is a working girl rom-com
It really is.
about a superhero.
A working girl rom com. That's really what it
Like,
is. You're right.
and then Faz, who, listeners, if you don't know or remember, Faz is a lawyer in real life, and
Hmm.
he's like, yeah, it's like a legal comedy.
Yeah.
And I was like, it flipped how I was viewing the show, and it made my viewing experience so much better. And,
I can
and
see
I
that.
think a lot of it was like, okay, was it let's see. What's a MCU movie that's generally well liked? Okay. Was it Captain America the Winter Soldier? No.
No,
It was never
no,
supposed to be.
no, not at all.
Was it, the
Or
Batman?
Ragnarok. You
Yeah,
know what I
like
mean? Yeah, like
was it any
any
of
of it.
those?
It was so different.
No.
Hence why it's kind of like WandaVision in that sense, because WandaVision was so different versus anything else that we've gone from them. And it was more Twilight Zone
Right.
than anything.
And
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 this was like exactly like what we kind of like, our kind of classic, like kind of sitcom feel.
yeah,
Like Cheers or something, like it's or
right.
Seinfeld. It takes place in an environment, and that's like the key pinnacle aspect of it. That kind of carries everything through. And I don't know, it was they always have that special guest, and they even poke fun at that.
Right. Like it was so, and I'm sure someone is prepared to disagree with me and prove that I'm wrong. Awesome. Applause.
Mhm.
This felt like the sensational She-Hulk series by John Byrne that everyone
That's the
lauds
one. Yeah, that's the one I was referring to
because
earlier.
it's
Yeah.
so wacky. It breaks the fourth wall all the time. Hell,
So
in one issue of Sensational She-Hulk, fucking Santa Claus shows up to solve a murder with She-Hulk. If that would have happened in the Disney Plus show, people would have lost their damn minds.
So that's the cool thing too, is that like I was questioning a lot of like what was going on in She-Hulk. And then I think you're the one who told me, you're just like, oh, well, I mean, She-Hulk's really meta in the comics. It's really comedic, and and then I didn't look up shit. I trusted your word for it because you've read it all. And once I
Thank you.
heard that, I was just like, oh, well, then the entire show makes sense. So it is a comic book based show, very much so. Even
Yeah.
John Byrne like status comic book based. And then when you look at the online reviews, I'm like, oh, no wonder none of you guys have read a fucking comic book. Like, I bet if I would have gone back and read, John, it's on my Marvel Limited, I swear to God. But if I go back and read it and it relates to it, it's just like, okay, so we're all just bitching for whatever. And I'm just like, I'm so glad that we're getting like a good reception from a good group of like people that are just realizing like why it's different and appreciating it,
Yeah.
because it's not a big punch them up either. People just
No.
always expect that from a superhero show.
And what's funny is I was talking to our friend Haley about this. And I feel like it's a worthwhile contribution to this show, which by the way, everybody, if you haven't checked out Source Pages, go check out Source Pages. They just did their She-Hulk review. Haley was unable to join us, but she and Brian, they killed it with their review. And if you want to hear Haley's thoughts, be sure to go check out Source Pages for that. So one thing that I think is like it's one of those things with comic book based mediums, or really let's say this, any form of storytelling that's based on another form of storytelling, or that's adapted from another, like making a movie from a book, making a TV show from a comic, all that kind of stuff. There's always this, like, if it doesn't make me feel the way that the original medium made me feel, then it's not good. Now, to follow through with the legal theme, a piece of evidence that I will admit into the proceedings: Lord of the Rings. People can love Lord of the Rings books. People can love Lord of the Rings movies. The movies are adaptations from the books. The books are dense and very like choppy to get through. It's a lot.
Yeah,
I wouldn't call them entertaining. But the
I read it when I
movies,
was
like
on
I would watch
tour
those
with my
movies till
band.
I would watch those movies always. I mean, of course, when I'm done watching the cartoon Lord of the Rings that we covered on Sutra Side Talk,
Yeah, Ralph Bakshi. Yeah,
good grief, that was an abomination.
none
to
of us were
again
on enough drugs to
connect
like
it
get
to the
through that
She-Hulk
movie.
thing, it was an abomination.
Yeah. Speaking of which, dude, Abomination. The fact that we even got him back was brilliant.
Oh, and the fact that it was still Tim Roth.
And it's still Tim Roth. And I will. My only negative review about this show that I didn't like, was that like I love the Tim Roth aspect, because to me it made sense for him to go down this path and be like a different type of supervillain. Like, because I figure if a different writer took this on and had fun with it, I'd be like, if this was a comic book and I saw them switch up Abomination like this, I would be laughing at it. And they're doing it in the show, and it's fucking funny. However, the Hulk aspect, I feel like they're really burning out this like Professor Hulk fucking like, and he just
Yeah.
seems to get wimpier and wimpier. And like, I know that's the cool thing about She-Hulk. It's playful, it's funny and everything. But like, I just didn't really like the Bruce Banner Hulk stuff at all. None of it did anything for me. And I was just like, you're wasting him more and more, I feel. And
Mm.
if we don't get a fucking savage Hulk in this next film or something,
You
I want
have
a
been
Hulk to go insane and just rip things to fucking shreds and Hulk smash. That's all I want from the Hulk is Hulk smash. Give me that. Like,
yeah, yep. All you want is what probably most of us would expect is Hulk smash.
yeah.
Okay, there's a few other things in this show we need to talk about. There is a red horned devil that we have not spoken about yet. We need to talk about Charlie Cox returning as
Yeah.
Daredevil, as
Yeah.
Matt Murdock. That second to last episode it was the second last episode.
It was,
Or was it the seventh
second,
episode?
it was the seventh, I think. I think there was
Okay.
two more. That's what threw me off too. I thought that was going to wrap
It
up the season.
was incredible.
So I know that I loved the Netflix Daredevil series.
It's
I've
metal
seen
as
it
hell.
so much. Yeah. And I love Daredevil. Daredevil is one of my favorite characters ever. So is Brandon's. In fact, we have a birthday episode over under edition that's going up this week because Brandon's birthday was a 12th. So we did a special episode on it, and it's all
awesome.
Daredevil themed for you guys to like listen to.
So
yeah,
cool.
We'll
put a link in the episode description. People can find it.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But like, I was so curious how Disney was going to handle him, and it couldn't have been a better introduction. Like, that's the thing about Matt Murdock. Like, Matt Murdock slays. I'm not gonna lie. Matt Murdock has had sex with so many women in the comics. It's like unreal.
That is confirmed.
Yes, like he is like, for a blind guy, he gets some. And the fact that you get to like see how smooth he is, and just like he's hilarious, and the way it all plays out, and you could see again with this relationship between I never really thought about it, but between She-Hulk and Matt Murdock, like them just adoring each other for both being lawyers and be like, you're kind of hot when you're in the courtroom. You know what I mean? Like that was brilliant. And the fact that like this girl's been going on dates this entire time and just got all these losers, and then she gets with Daredevil, you're just like, girl, you won. Like,
I love the like yeah, because I saw one critique, and I don't know if I didn't really look into a lot of the opinions on this show because I didn't care.
Yeah.
But there was one review that I saw. It was like he's basically like being used by She-Hulk,
and he fucking loved it.
Like, hold on,
like...
hold on though. But if the roles are reversed, if Daredevil's the one making She-Hulk do the walk of shame the day before, it's like, yeah, man, hell yeah.
Well, dude, it's so much better if Matt Murdock.
But it was so funny.
It's so funny seeing him in the Daredevil outfit.
The quote, walk of shame.
Yeah.
Like that was so freaking funny. I laughed my ass off.
And they're saying like they saw like Daredevil walking like down the street and everything. You know what I mean?
It's hilarious.
Yes. It was. I couldn't. I was scared and I was nervous about it because I'm protective about the cool shit that I like, and I just had the best time.
Yeah.
And the fact that you saw him come back, I loved it. I loved every single episode. And I will say this, like, I've met Charlie Cox. He is a nice fucking dude. Like, that reminded me of like Charlie when I met him, and I was like, man, you're
on a first name basis with Daredevil. That's really cool.
I wish.
So okay, with Daredevil returning, I think Charlie Cox just opens up a whole new like street level kind of. Here's the thing. Well, Daredevil is so integral in Marvel Comics.
Yes.
He's a big deal.
Yeah.
And the fact, like, yes, Daredevil Born Again is going to be awesome. It just
and people are worried about it, but you know what? I think She-Hulk shows that they're not afraid to go into different territory with things, that they're not afraid to branch out into different kind of genre type of aspects. Look at WandaVision compared to Winter Soldier versus Loki versus like Loki and What If are kind of the same, but like versus Hawkeye, like none of these are really the same. And I think that people are like, well, Netflix Daredevil was so dark and amazing, they're gonna fuck it up. Like, no, they're not. Like, I think they know that was fucking amazing. Now they got to do better, because every time they pick up something, it is better than it was before.
But also, I mean, just to kind of get into the realm of hypotheticals here, because nerds do, I don't know if you know this, Brandon, but nerds do like to hypothesize about stuff. We do like to fantasy book stuff. I don't think they'll just do a like, oh well, the Netflix Daredevil was dark, so we have to be dark in the same way.
No, it's gonna be like,
I could honestly see, and I think this would be fun. I could see the Netflix or the Disney Plus Daredevil being more like Mark Waid's Daredevil.
I've not read Mark Waid's Daredevil.
Or Brian Michael Bendis's Daredevil.
I haven't read Bendis.
It's a lot more. I've
read the two Daredevil runs. I have not read.
I would recommend them. Recommend them. They're a lot of fun.
I've done like the Zdarsky, the Miller for Daredevil.
Oh, Zdarsky's
I've done
Daredevil.
Like Kevin Smith and some Quesada. Like
you've hit most of the modern ones.
Jeff Loeb, all of the Jeff Loeb Daredevil. You know what I mean? But like,
you said Zdarsky. Just a brief aside here.
Have you not read Zdarsky's Daredevil?
No, I have. I have.
Oh,
I freaking so that Elektra Daredevil costume is the sickest shit.
So good.
It's so cool. I think the artist is Marco Cicchetto. My gosh,
dude, and his cover
is so cool.
Insane, man. Have you seen his sketches? If I could ever land one, that's a goal. Like, dude, I don't know. Honestly, like for Frank Miller to be writing Daredevil and then Batman and then Zdarsky to be writing Daredevil and Batman at the same time.
That's where I was going next.
Like, that's
the start to Zdarsky's Batman. So I haven't read all of it that's been out so far, but that first issue of him on Batman is incredible.
Dude, it like spoke to me on like a personal level. There was like a panel in that page, like, and it hit me so hard, like I wanted to cry. Like, it was so good. And then
I'm just saying,
Xehanort?
There needs to be, Marvel and DC need to get over themselves, and they need to let Zdarsky do a Batman versus Daredevil. How freaking insane would that be?
They should just let that crossover happen. Yeah, that would
just let it happen.
So many books, and Zdarsky could do it. I don't know. He also said he would never do an event again after Devil's Reign. Like,
I mean, events.
But you're right. That's different than an event for sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Spawn, Batman thing happening.
What were we talking about? Happened. We were talking about She-Hulk, weren't we?
She-Hulk.
Oh, right. The episode title says She-Hulk review. Right.
Slash MASH / Daredevil
slash Chip Zdarsky fan club. But there was so another thing I want to talk about, since we are on the Thor show, and people expect, it's weird, Brandon. People expect Thor content when they come to the show. I haven't really figured out why yet, but hopefully I'll get to the bottom of it. So there were some pretty overt connections to the world of Thor. To name a few, there was Runa, the light elf, who was in one of the episodes. She's kind of like got this magic where she can, change her appearances. And she defrauds one of Jen's coworkers by impersonating Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah. Is Megan Thee Stallion a real person?
Or she's a like a pop singer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So yeah. Okay, Grandpa, let me bring you into the 21st century.
Educate me, please. I don't know anything about.
And then Megan Thee Stallion and Jennifer twerked, and the entire world lost their freaking minds.
I love how that twerk was like a 5-second like post-credit scene.
It's nothing.
And like everyone made it seem like a pivotal plot point. But then again, when you watch all of the like the credit scenes, they're all like humor based.
Right.
So then why was it?
They make a joke about Steve Rogers being a virgin.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the first one they bring out, Steve Rogers being a virgin. And we're freaking about She-Hulk twerking for a second. Like, I don't know, man.
Whatever.
That shit.
The Runa, the light elf, shows up, which also Runa is a name that was I believe in Torrin Grunbeck's Valkyrie. It was given to the Tessa Thompson kind of version of Valkyrie. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's right. Runa is a name that's used for Tessa Thompson's Valkyrie in the comics.
I love when I hear like a sentence that's like more nerdier than I could ever say in my life. Like that was great.
Yeah. I'm glad you appreciated that.
Yeah.
Also, this has been really cool for me because like I love like terrible Thor villains. Like my prized possession here in the Thor studio is the first appearance of Ulik the Troll. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one in the world that cares about that.
Definitely.
But another Thor villain and his cronies got their debut in She-Hulk. It's the Wrecker and his wrecking crew.
That threw me off. Yeah.
Yes.
That was really interesting.
Now,
because we've been expecting that since like Spider-Man.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
so the Wrecker and his wrecking crew, they show up and they mug Jennifer, but she turns into She-Hulk and she beats the shit out of them. So, that was no big deal. But then the Wrecker comes back at the end and he's part of Emil Blonsky's, like a rehab farm, I guess, rehab farm. And he like helps Jen have this breakthrough. And it's really cool. Like it's a really cool use of these villainous characters that you just like, oh, what if villains had to go to rehab like to stop being villainous?
I thought that was cool. That was
really cool.
They haven't brought out yet, and it makes sense. Like, and he was all like namaste and like peaceful and shit. And you're like, I see it. And he's such a good actor too, for one. Like it felt right, him doing all of that, very organic. And it just like as a character, I buy it. Like, all right.
I enjoyed that episode a lot. And I think one of the critiques I had heard was, well, there wasn't any like action in this. I'm like, yeah, it's called character development.
And not like that's the cool thing, like we're going to talk about Black Adam. And there's
our bonus episode, everybody.
Yeah.
So go join the Thor Corps and check out the rant of the century.
And you know what? Like, some things have a lot of action that shouldn't, and actually less action is typically more in a lot of cases, and they pulled it off. Like, this is one of those things, if you're looking at it at a certain approach to comedy, for one, it's based in this superhero aspect, it makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, all of this, like I think, like, once you accept what the show is about, it's kind of like accepting, but I mean, these are bad movies in general, but like the Venom movies, this is a bad comparison. But once I accepted that universe, I like enjoyed Let There Be Carnage, and I didn't have a lot of criticism, but She-Hulk was like, had quality, but it's not an action-packed. That I'm trying to say is it's not an action-packed superhero show. You know that from the start.
Yeah.
So why are everyone expecting that? I think because they see Hulk, they just want to see the punch 'em ups,
It's a working girl rom-com. I'm telling you.
Rom-com. 100%.
That's what I mean. I could be wrong. Like someone could say like, hey Ryan, I think you got that one wrong. Here's what it like kind of actually is supposed to be. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. When I switched my brain to viewing it differently and being like, okay, this is not freaking Avengers Endgame. This is not, Spider-Man.
If I was gonna talk a girl into watching a TV show with me that's superhero based, and she's like, I'm so sick of all your fucking superhero shows, I don't care for any of them. I'm like, but wait, you might like She-Hulk. Bam.
If that girl exists for you, Brandon, I already like her a lot.
There you go.
So let's get to this finale, because the finale had one very timely reference to Thor. When they get to the intelligentsia like Boy Scout meeting, the group that Pug is in, they're all talking about Thor, and they're talking about the Jane Foster version of Thor. So they're like using words like female a lot, and they're just like so cringy and so like just gross.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is like crazy, because this movie just came out and they're already dropping these references in there, which I thought was really cool. But the rest of the finale, I mean, Brandon, the finale was so nuts in so many different ways, and it didn't end like a normal Marvel show or a movie. There wasn't this big massive fight in the sky with a dragon or a fortress or or spaceships. Like, it was Jen fighting basically toxic fandom.
Yeah,
Or
exactly. Like toxic fandom, like
it
toxic
was,
male fandom too. You know what I mean?
which
Because
by the way,
that's
we know that we are two guys talking about
yeah,
this. We watched, like, Brandon and I watched the finale, and it was like we're like cheering She-Hulk on the whole
yeah,
time. Like, yeah, we know these guys. But then there's that whole thing of like where she fights Kevin at the end, or she fights
yeah,
Kevin.
yeah,
And they rewrite the show because the show itself was going down a like, oh, Abomination, it goes back to evil, and Todd gets turned into a Hulk, and you're just like, what is happening here? Even as you're watching it, it's like, what the fuck? Like, I was
like
with
it's
you.
yeah,
I was with you. And then Jen calls it out, and she walks out of the show. It was
yeah.
awesome.
It was the most meta. Like, I mean, that's what got me into comics is when they cross that that fourth wall, and when you do that and you do it well enough, it's brilliant. And I think this is exactly what they needed to do to just make it like that over the top, like you don't know what to expect type of TV show, because I felt
Yeah.
like that way through the entire season, is that you didn't know what to expect, and to serve you that well in a finale and then kind of leave you hanging in a sense too.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
There's
stuff.
stuff to pick up. And oh gosh, what I loved so much about that show is they did something that really, a form of storytelling we hadn't really seen in the MCU yet, which was breaking the fourth wall. And heck, in like episode 4 or 5, Jen's like, well, Wong showed up last week, so that should give us Twitter armor for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that's brilliant.
That is. They
Like,
see it. Like it shows that
knowing
they pay attention to like what's
knowing
going
how,
on.
right, knowing how you're perceived by a certain amount of your fan base, and being like, okay, we're just going to talk about it. But here's the thing, it's funny that people that have, let's say, watched the Deadpool movies. Deadpool was not the first superhero to break the fourth wall, everybody.
Mm-mm.
That's nope, not a thing.
Nope. It's also like I had that whole thing too. That was one of my rants, was like, why, who gives a fuck about She-Hulk? Like, why are we doing this character? And then you kind of realize how often you see She-Hulk in the comics, or just different characters in general, like what they've been doing. Moon Knight, they have Man Thing and Werewolf by Night, like they're doing all this stuff, and it's like, oh, they're just like broadening up the Marvel universe because they can, and they all exist in it. So why the fuck not? Like,
Yeah.
who else? I mean, we're gonna get to everybody eventually. It was gonna happen. So
Well, it's like this phase is being called by some the MCU.
yeah,
Okay,
that's cool. I'm
like
down for that.
why is that a
Because
problem?
that also happened in the comics.
Right,
So
like
like it's one
I,
of those things too. Like I think too many people just get mixed up in like what is being put out
yeah.
on in the past or the modern comic book realm. And to me, like it's one of those things, as long as it gets close to mirroring what we got in the comics, or picking up the right the right aspects and characteristics
The
that the
spirit of
comic
the character.
spirit, yeah, then it's
Yeah.
just like, then you nailed it. Then you're just telling a different series. It's just like if another writer took on in the books, it's going to be a little different.
Yeah. Well, and forget who was it that somebody we've interviewed in the past, one of our past conversations, some listener, go back and listen to every creator conversation we've had and find this quote for me. But they're basically like, I will always have a different version of this character, of Thor, of Odin, of Loki, because I can't have somebody else's version of it. Even if we could write the same dialogue and yet the art would look different. We could all have the same art, but then the dialogue would be different. The tone, the spirit, the themes, it's different. Like, using a character like She-Hulk to tell stories that the producers, the directors, the writers, the actors, the actresses, the production staff, that they wanted to tell. Did they accomplish what they wanted to? I would say, given the theme of that finale, they did exactly what they wanted to do.
I felt it. Yeah, I could totally see that.
And even if you did not like it, like it's, are you allowed not to like stuff? Sure, why not? Like, there's check out our bonus episode. You're going to learn something Brandon didn't like.
Yeah.
But there's this idea of like, well, that like, the MCU, like, girls are taking over, female superheroes are taking over. So what? Who cares?
Kind of a good thing.
Like, they're badass characters. Like, and I'm sure this is, a touchier subject, for some, but like having a diverse cast of characters, of Black characters, of Hispanic characters, of Asian characters, heck, having gay superheroes, bisexual superheroes, like, God forbid, like, I can't wait to see the shit storm that happens with a certain subset of the fan base when we get our first trans superhero. Like, those are all good things because it includes more people in the medium of telling superhero stories. And really, at the end of the day, superhero stories are human stories. So
what's fucking wild is that,
yeah.
like, everyone today that gets upset about that has not been reading comics for the last 30 years, because there's this comic called Sandman that deals with all of that.
Do you like Sandman, Brandon?
Like,
I don't know.
to like my little like Sandman, but also, like, dude, Grant Morrison's Invisibles. Like, there's so many characters. Even if you look at I think Seven Soldiers of Victory, there's some stuff in there too. But it's like, you don't. This is offending you because it's in like a television medium. Like, you've never read comics in general, because all of this shit has been in the comics the entire. Also, like, we're talking about people that, like, I mean, no matter what you do in life, like, you are practically like dressing up in drag, because you're dressing up and you're putting something else on, a different persona, to have someone else perceive something else. Like, you dress differently from work, from how you are going to like school, to how you are like when you're at home, to where you're with family. Like, and these are the same thing. These characters, these superheroes, are putting on tight outfits, armored or not, that are Batman's putting on leather and running around in the night. Like, that is, I mean, that's drag right there. Like, tell me, he's putting on little boots and frolicking throughout the night, like, in his cape. Like, he's putting on a cape and running around, like, in leather, tight leather. Like, come on. If a trans anything offends you in comic books, you don't know what comic books are.
Okay, so we say all that to be like, this show brought so many different topics to the forefront for me, of like, imagine the possibilities of where comic book storytelling could go next. Like, imagine what kind of inclusivity we could achieve next. And like, you can bitch about the CGI, you can bitch about the twerking and all that stuff. Let's try to see a little bit bigger picture here.
For the record, the CGI was trash in the first trailer, and I agree with everyone.
You know what?
But it got so much better. Like,
right. But like, imagine the possibilities. And I'm not saying that I want there to be less Thor stories. I don't want there to be less Iron Man stories. I don't want there to be less Captain America stories. So all I'm trying to say is that there's this rich, diverse potential of storytelling in DC stories, in Marvel. Hell, let's go beyond even comic books. There's so many other parts of storytelling that need to be highlighted, need to be represented. And whatever little part She-Hulk had in that, I'm glad that I enjoyed it to the point where I'm excited to see what happens next. I thought that with Miss Marvel too. Like, Miss Marvel, I loved, and we don't
Marvel greatly different from anything else. That was like a historical type of
right, like a
diverse piece that I learned about, like, culture and heritage. I mean, I don't know how accurate some of that shit is, but I mean, by all means, that's what they presented.
And Moon Knight, talking about various personalities.
Show was trash. But like, I could see that.
Like, but it's like there's at least these attempts.
At
100%. Talking about different subjects within these stories, and I really, really enjoy that. I really like at least the attempps at it. It's not this paper, it looks right. Totally it's not this sweeping under the rug of human beings who experience life differently than me, differently than you. Like, and there's some rich beauty in that. So any other final thoughts about She-Hulk and the rant that was?
Man, go watch She-Hulk.
That concludes our She-Hulk review, but it does not conclude our episode, because Brandon is going to be the second person, along with Joe Sabino, to go through the spooky thunder round as we prepare for Halloween here on Across the Bifrost. Brandon, are you ready for the spooky thunder round?
Let's do it.
Brandon has also never done a thunder round, which is kind of fun. So we've been friends for like over a year now, and he's never done a thunder round. So here we go. 5 quick questions that we throw at our guest, and we see what we get back. This helps you get to know our guests a little bit better, and we're going to find out some spooky truths from Brandon Bloxdorf, Apollo City Comics. What was the first scary movie you ever saw?
I want to say one of the first scary movies I remember watching was Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. go look it up on HBO Max. It's goddamn, my whole life just traces back.
Is it trash?
It's not trash.
Okay.
Actually, it's a very creepy movie that like it's old. I mean, it's 1962.
What happened?
It's just a creepy, like kind of like thriller type of movie that still stands like a good testament to time, and there's great acting in it. But I remember that just really creeped me out. But that's like the type of creepy I like when it comes to horror. I don't like slasher horror, so I can't recall something like that because I probably just blocked it out because I didn't like it. But one,
I'm not a slasher horror guy either.
Yeah, like this is a horror movie that like I saw it and it stuck with me. You know what I mean?
Like, all right. Second question: zombie bite or vampire bite?
Vampire bite, dude. I'm so fucking down to be a vampire. Zombies creep the fuck out of me too, by the way.
Really?
Like, zombies like genuinely kind of scare me. But like last year I started binging vampire stuff because I try to like I'm new to horror. I'm not like a horror person. I've never been a horror person, but it's come to my attention a lot because I really got into like David Lynch, and that got me in a whole trail of stuff. But like last year for Halloween, I just binged vampire stuff. And it just turns out I think I really like vampires because I thought all of it was dope. I still like read and watch vampire crap. Buffy is one of my favorite shows right now.
Buffy is good shit. Yeah. Okay. Third question. And I know you're vegan, so this might change your answer a little bit.
Do the vegan version or whatever. Yeah. It's
cool. So do the vegan version of this question. Favorite Halloween candy?
Oh man, torture my soul. There's, you know, what sucks about being vegan is that makes Halloween really hard sometimes.
Right?
There's like there's vegan candy corn, but it's hard to find. I think that's it. Vegan candy corn.
Is it just corn?
No, but it's not even as good as like regular candy corn either. You know, it's vegan food is like every year they kind of make a small little step forward into quality, like cheese and shit like that, and adding more candy. But it's kind of still where I'm at.
Yeah, man. Well, I can't say that when I read these questions, I was like, all right.
But you know, when I find those items or when there's something new, like I cherish the fuck.
Yeah,
out of it.
no,
I cry.
I don't doubt it. Fourth question: what was the best Halloween costume you ever had?
So I've been Nightwing once. That came out really cool. It was a homemade one, like, and it was.
You made a Nightwing?
I made a Nightwing costume, and then
that's so cool.
1 year, this girl I was dating, and she got like a Joker outfit, and then I was like Robin, and I bought a medium Robin top. You know what I mean? But it was like still way too tight, dude. So it was just like snug on me, like, and no, I looked like a kid Robin. It was so fitting for how tight that thing was.
Oh man, that's so funny.
But other than that, like I was like the Crow for like 6 years in a row.
I could see you pulling off the Crow. I can see you pulling off the Crow. Okay, fifth and final question. This is Marvel related because after all, we are a Marvel adjacent podcast. What is your favorite creepy Marvel character?
Creepy Marvel character? No. The
god of the symbiotes.
God of the symbiotes. Yeah,
he does give Halloween vibes.
He does. Dude, fucking look at this.
Like, do you have the Legends figure right there?
I do have the Legends.
Oh man, so cool.
Yes. Yeah. Noah is just like creepy as hell, and I love it. And
he looks like a vampire.
Yeah. Maybe that's the thing about it. He looks like a vampire too. Maybe
he's like better Dracula. That's what Noah is.
Yes.
But there you go, man. That's your first Thunder round.
Hyped for it.
Listeners, I hope that you learned more about Brandon today. Maybe you can follow him at Apollo City Comics and follow up with some of your favorite vegan candy if you have vegan candy.
Send me your vegan candy shit.
Yeah.
So I know about it.
So everybody, as we wrap up the episode today, I want to thank Brandon for stopping by. We always have fun on these chats. We're going to be, I believe, Brandon, are we still going to be on Apollo City in a little bit?
Yes, we're doing a live episode for the 4th anniversary of Apollo City Comics, November 2nd. It's a Wednesday, and we'll be announcing that this week. Also, keep up with us. I'll be at Baltimore Comic Con and posting about that with Lesser Known Comics. Woo! And so we have a lot of cool stuff, and we've have a ton of interviews from Launchtober, where we just helped bring out indie creators launching their Kickstarters this past month, and a lot of them are still going on. And also, there's just an arsenal of cool comics for you guys to check out. Yeah. A lot for free over at Global Comics. So go hit all that up, and then you know what? Our comic book anthology is still open. It's open to the end of November. It is. Yes, to the end of November. We've gotten tons of submissions, and we keep on wanting more. Keep sending them, and just shoot us a message on Instagram or Twitter if you have any questions. I'll talk to you personally. And then we have an announcement coming out soon with
comics. Buddy.
Yeah.
Just go check out Apollo City Comics on Instagram for all of that. Brandon's a really good follow. And just so everybody knows a little bit more about what's happening in the world of Across the Bifrost, we just recently got back from Theology Beer Camp, which was a ton of fun. Our good friend Trip Fuller invited us out there. We got to hang out with some stalwarts from Across the Bifrost. Will Rose and I actually met in person for the first time, gave each other a big old hug. We drank many beers together, and we talked much comics. So we are going to be putting up the episode that we did, the live panel we did. We did a superpower happy hour at this beer camp. It was a lot of fun. We had 2 other friends, Nathan Gilmore and Josh Noel, come on with us. Nathan Gilmore is actually going to be on an episode before the end of the year where we're going to talk some Norse mythology, because Nathan is completely stoked about all that stuff. So that panel is going to be put up as a bonus episode, I'm hoping, in the next few weeks. So be looking for that. That's what we did at Theology Beer Camp. Also wanted to share a story as we head out here. I know we have talked many a story on this episode, but a really cool thing happened on my way to this episode. I got a message on our Mighty Thor Instagram account from a guy named Kenny Carlson. So Kenny, if you're listening, this is the shout out that I asked you for, or that if we could do. Kenny just said how much he appreciated this show, and that he discovered it a little while ago, and he's really loving it. But the part that he loves the most is that he listens with his son. Maybe, Kenny, don't listen to this episode with your son, but his son is 5 years old. And I think Kenny's son might be our mascot, because Kenny's son's name is Thor. So Kenny and Thor Carlson, thank you for listening all the way from Sweden. Thank you very much.
So cool.
Yeah, right. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for letting me share that story. It was very heartwarming to hear that this little itty bitty show that is recorded in the middle of nowhere is heard, halfway around the world. So yeah, thank you, Kenny, for letting me share that story. And if you have any other cool stories you want us to share on the show, send them to me, and we'll see if we can fit them in. Another cool way you can support the show, other than just telling us awesome stories, is by joining our Patreon. Join the Thor Corps for just a few bucks a month, and we would love to have you be a part of our community on Patreon. That is growing. It's been really exciting to see us, add, here and there. We get another Thor Corps member here and there, and towards the end of the year, we are going to be deciding what creator we're going to be focusing on next year. It's kind of down between 2 of them, but if you're a member of the Thor Corps, I'm going to talk to you one-on-one, and we're going to see what you want to hear next year. Brad. So yeah, we got lots to look forward to. The end of the year is going to be so much fun. So everybody, next week we've got a banger episode for you. And I know I say this a lot. It's because I mean it every time. We are going to have one of my favorite podcast hosts on next week. We are going to be talking about War of the Realms next week on the podcast. We are going to be talking with a very special guest. And I'm so excited for this episode. Our entire Jason Aaron retrospective has been leading up to talking about War of the Realms, and it's gonna be awesome. So until we see you next time aboard the Rainbow Bridge for War of the Realms, I'm Ryan, he's been Brandon, and we encourage you to do one thing, and that is stay worthy.